welcome to Ring Talk episode, I think it's 119.
It is.
Ring a bell. That's a lot of episodes, isn't it, now that we look back?
We have been cracking on doing this for a long time now.
We've been doing it over lockdown as well. You know, it's we've been busy.
It's been good fun, and it's good fun, and the good thing is now I see an end. We see an end to this all now. Hennessy's got fans back this weekend, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And then we've got obviously you've got Eddie's got the show next month. Then obviously his Sky contract finishes, so that's going to all open up, and we've got our shows coming back hopefully in September. There's a lot of exciting times ahead. I'm quite excited about the new season. So I think we can be positive that we're back, we're getting back, and might require some tweaking on how we run shows, but we're definitely back.
Yeah, you can have an eye on the future now, can't you, rather than worrying about the present too much.
Exactly. Now we're speaking to all our boxers most of our boxers on Monday, and we are allocating dates for them, and we're going to sort fights out. So we're actually really getting towards things on Monday. We're going through most of our boxers with scheduled times for them, and we're going to hopefully start to allocate fights, which is exciting for them and for us to get everybody going again.
Are you going to ask every one of them, like, where do you want to return at, and let them decide, or are you going to decide it kind of for them?
How do you mean where?
So what level they want to return? Like, do you want a tune-up, or do you want to go straight into a hard one?
You've either got, there's two choices coming back. You either take a nice little tune-up or you go in. There is no middle ground on coming back. You've either got to, not for those coming in most of them will want a tune-up back. Not many want to go back in. I mean, people like Liam Dillon wants to go back in because he's ready for his English title shot. Linus wants to go in. He's ready to go. So some do, but the majority will want a form of tune-up, and I think it's the right thing to do for the majority.
So you're going to leave that up to them and their trainer to decide, or
we'll discuss that all on Monday, yeah. And we've spoke to quite a few. We've got some really talented fighters on our books, really talented, who are going. In my opinion, we've got future British champions, quite a few British champions on our roster. So we need to build them towards that. And there's no need, if they've been off for a long time, to go straight back in with a mad fight. For some, yes. For others, no. But I'm going to speak to all the boxers, and we're going to plan it accordingly. Everybody's different. If they're older, they may have to go in first. But a lot depends. And we've got lots of things, not only our shows to sort out, other things to sort out outside our shows as well. So it's going to be there's some really exciting times ahead over the next 3-4 weeks.
And there'll be some new names and new faces as well when you return.
Plenty. We've signed over 30 new boxers during lockdown.
I'm terrible with names. I'm going to have to learn all these new people.
I know, exactly that. And there's some really good ones as well, and really exciting times. And we're hoping to create really big opportunities for some of them. So
right, well, there's a challenge for all 30 of you. That first fight out, you've got to make a statement, make a name for yourself. Because if there's that massive influx and everybody's coming in at one time, make yourself memorable and make yourself, a reason that people come back.
There's going to be some really good opportunities for fighters this year. When you get a shake-up of the industry, and I think we're getting a humongous shake-up of the industry coming, which I think I'll talk more about that probably in a month's time.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a humongous shake-up, and a humongous shake-up like there is at the moment that's going on, that people don't even know is going on, is going to create massive opportunities. And people think that we sit here chatting on Ring Talk, and that's all we do on boxing. There's a lot more going on than just us doing this. There's things we're doing that people don't know we're doing, talking, speaking about, working on, plans we're doing. But we want to work on things that we believe have longevity and sustainability. And that's what we're trying to do. But exciting times. I'm quite excited about the new season, and I probably wasn't 2 months ago.
Yeah. All right. Well, while this current season's going on, I missed it on Saturday night. Not because I had anything on, I just didn't want to watch it, if I'm honest. So it's over to you. Jason Cunningham beat Mao Yafai.
That was a good fight. That was actually a really, really good fight. And it was really good to see, to be honest, because Jason Cunningham has, I've got all the time in the world for Steffi Ball, right? Who trains him. I think he's a great guy. He's good for boxing. He's a in all my dealings with Steffi Ball I've had over the years, they've always been honest, decent. He's never lied to me. He's always been a really good man to talk to. And for me, he's one of boxing's good guys. And I was delighted that somebody like Jason Cunningham, who has been in there as the opponent, tried hard, he's had his night. And that was fantastic. And I thought he fought really well. What I would say is Gamal Yafai, what the hell was he? He was walking on to the same shot round after round after round. What the hell was going on there? Because it was making no difference. Okay, came on strong at the end, but he was just so susceptible to the right. And you wonder why a boxer of his amateur ability would just keep getting hit by the same shot. But there we go. He deserved it, Jason, and that was great. What else did I watch? I watched
McCarthy. He won.
He won, and that's it. Move on. The fight against Billam Smith is a great. I mean, that's a good fight. I mean, Eddie said he's putting that together, and that's a really good fight. I fancy Chris Billam Smith for that.
Yeah, I fancy Tommy McCarthy for it.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I think it's a good fight. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a real fight. Obviously, it was originally going to be Chris Billam Smith against Dion Juma. That has gone by the wayside. I mean, we've done a good job personally getting him into the mandatory position, but he left us, and it's obviously gone wrong for him. But yeah, so now it's McCarthy against Billam Smith, and it's a great fight, but it's a really good fight. Unlike the McCarthy fight on Saturday, Lerone Richards, super skilled, super talented, good singer.
I did see that clip. That's the only, I'll be honest, that's the only part that I bothered to look up out of that entire fight.
He's very talented, Lerone, very talented.
But I didn't watch it. Was it another case that he's levels above his opponent but refuses to stick it on him?
Yeah.
It bores me. It bores me to tears. And it does it so often. He was doing it on Frank Warren shows. He's done it on Eddie Hearn shows.
Like I said last week, the problem you've got with Lerone is he's going to be hard to make a lot of money with. That's the problem. If you're in the boxing business to make money, well, I think he's super talented, man. I think he's a brilliant fighter. But is he going to earn millions? Is he going to get £1 million paydays? Probably not.
He's in that division, super middleweight. It's meant to be exciting. It's meant to be athletic fighters that can punch hard. That's kind of what we associate to super middleweights. The movement around the ring is great. I can appreciate it a lot when I'm watching Sonny Edwards, who I don't anticipate is going to go around trying to knock your head off. I want super middleweights to knock your head off.
Yeah, he's never going to do that. He's not that sort of fighter.
No.
So that was Lerone. What else was there? There was what was the other? What was the?
Buatsi.
I think Buatsi is a great fighter, but I mean it was what it was, a mismatch.
For all the talk of the things that are dangerous in boxing, PEDs, the dehydration for boxers, making weights, one that rarely gets covered is mismatches.
Yeah.
Should the fourth best light heavyweight in France be fighting Joshua Buatsi?
Probably not.
No.
It was a mismatch. It was a mismatch. But I don't know. It's a difficult one because I think TV, you need to have some of them, but there's not. You see, if you look through the card, apart from Cunningham and Yafai, and that wasn't supposed to be competitive, remember? That was supposed to be one-sided. There was nothing on the show that was remotely competitive, was there? Nothing.
No, I mean, that's why I didn't tune in.
I got back. I'd been in Cornwall. I was travelling back from Cornwall. I travelled back on Saturday night. Josh was socializing. So I was in the house or on my own, I think. So I had Trisha watching the reality TV rubbish upstairs. We've got a sister living with us in the other room. So I'm stuck in the front room. What do? I sat and just watched the boxing. It was like by default, I was watching it, but I wouldn't have been bothered if I was traveling back from Cornwall, to be honest. It wasn't.
Did you not come out to the sports bar to watch it?
No, Josh was in here.
Oh, I see. That was his socialising.
Yeah. So he was where I am now in the sports bar, and so that was that. So I watched it, but it was okay. It was, it's better than, but again, I really do feel that you should have more competitive fights than that on a Saturday night card. But the thing was, and I think competitive fights are those that are going to be competitive. If something like your fight against Cunningham is going to get competitive, that was by accident, not created. So I like to see fights that are 4-7, 4-6, the favourite, not 1-10, 1-9, 1-20, 1-100. I want to see fights like that on a TV show. Other than that, what's the point? You can get the odd good one, but you have to sit through a lot of gross mismatches to see the good fight. I hope that we're going to see on TV a lot more competitive fights going forward.
Yep, absolutely. My front door's just gone. I'm going to be back in 2 seconds.
I'll show everybody the sports bar, shall I?
Go for it. Give me a tour.
This is the new Goodwin sports bar where we'll be having the live ring talk from, which is going to be in August. So there's the bar. There's the bar that we've got. There's our pool table area. And if we look up here, you've got all the seating area. You've got the TVs for the sports. You've got the TVs there. But we'll be holding in here a live ring talk. And my son Josh says that this is the most important piece of memorabilia in the place, which is his shorts.
He hasn't put his shorts up there. Crikey.
He has, and Martin, he's available for signed photos by this picture, which he offers everybody that comes in. So
I mean, those shorts barely look worn, Josh.
But that's for the we'll have to announce the date next week once and for all for the live show in August. But we'll try and get a date sorted out for that.
Rather inconveniently, Joshua and Fury have buggered about with theirs. So
and there's also I've got to wait on something else for August as well, which you know about, which I just said, just to wait for sure. So probably going to be 2 weeks before we know for sure.
We'll announce details, people. Don't worry about it.
But it's going to be August, and we're going to do the question in a couple of weeks' time. So you've had the tour for those of you that are coming of where we're going to go and have a few beers in August. So
cool. This weekend, Josh Taylor against Ramirez.
Yeah. Go on.
How much do you know about Ramirez? Because if I'm honest, I've not seen a lot of his career.
I haven't seen. Honest to God, I haven't seen any of it.
I knew more about Prograde than I do about Ramirez.
I would not be qualified to talk about this fight. I haven't seen Ramirez. I haven't watched him, and I don't know why, but I've just not got any interest in the fight. I think there's no build up to it. It's on Fight for some reason. It's on Fight TV. It's not got any attraction from ESPN, which you would normally have expected it to. It's not been picked up by any British major broadcaster. Very, very strange.
I mean, when Frampton's didn't get picked up by BT against Jamel Herring, it ended up on Channel 5 at least.
Yeah.
Fight TV, I mean, ultimately, I don't care. Like, it doesn't really bother me which platform it ends up on, but it does kill some of the interest in it by putting it on an obscure platform that doesn't cross over into the mainstream at all, and therefore isn't in your consciousness during the week of the fight.
And that's why I haven't looked at it. Genuinely, yeah. I'm not going to be watching it on Fight. I'm not going to be bothered to watch it, and it just, for me, it's just, yeah. I mean, this is what Eddie Hearn does so well. He builds up cards, fights like nobody else. He's brilliant, a brilliant promoter. And That's what you need. But these fights are just going under the radar. Josh Taylor is a real quality fighter, as we know. For me, it deserves a better platform than that. That's my view.
Yeah. No, I agree entirely. And it deserves better build up. I feel like it probably damages the earning potential of Josh Taylor as well. Like, he deserves a lot of money. If he becomes a British undisputed champion, he deserves an awful lot of money out of his career. And I don't feel like he's going to get that.
He may be getting it, Martin. He may be getting it. You don't know what he's getting. I think we don't know what he's on. So he may be getting it. It's just,
appreciate he may be getting it, but undoubtedly money left on the table by doing it this way.
Well, for sure.
There has to be. Like, the fact that it's bypassed all major broadcasters. There's no way Fight TV are paying the same as if it were a pay-per-view on Sky.
Well, why does no major broadcaster want to show it?
Don't know.
I don't know either. Makes no sense.
Good luck, Josh Taylor, but it's a fight that, as you say, it's underwhelmed a little bit, and I'm sure it'll be a cracking fight because Josh Taylor's never in a bad fight, really, is he? He's
exactly that.
He's a great one. Right, we're going to go on. We've got loads of questions, so you haven't seen any of these.
No.
So we're going to have to wing it. Right.
Don't laugh before you ask me a question.
AFC Essex 89 on Twitter. Mark Tibbs. Did they pull the videos because they weren't going to pay him?
I mean,
I can't think of any other reason why they would pull the videos. They did him dirty with Davison, and then he had to stand by his name.
It's not been the greatest look, has it? The whole thing, forget it. The whole thing, start to finish, has not been the greatest look. And I listen, I know I've dealt with Mark Tibbs. I've done business with Mark Tibbs before. I can only say, I don't know Ben Davison. I don't know anybody else involved. All I can say is in all of my dealings with Mark Tibbs, he's come across to me as decent, honest, straight. And I've always found him to be a decent human being. And that's all I can say about him. So that's it. So, but what's gone on this week is very odd. And as I said last week, I don't know what the fuss is about. I just don't get it. He hurt his eye. He decided to quit, which is fine. He preserved his career and his eyesight for another day. That's fine. He was losing the fight. That's fine. He was going to lose. That's fine. Move on. Don't understand.
We're now 10 days removed from the fight, and it's still creating headlines.
But sometimes you can create. I was talking to Kev today. Do you remember, and this is an example, do you remember the Florian Marku disaster at York Hall with his fans, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you remember that? Well, you will remember, you wrote Florian's press release, right? Didn't you? So
no, he learned some very good English overnight.
Which he endorsed it, but you wrote it for him.
I assisted.
You assisted in writing it. We issued it. It killed the story, right? Nobody talks about it anymore. Now, yes, I know this is a bigger thing, but there are ways of getting rid of a story. If somebody had come out and said, yeah, okay, Billy Joe said, yeah, I was probably wrong what I said to Daniel Dubois. I apologise to him because I was in the same boat and really it's the wrong thing and I really apologise for that. Yes, I didn't want to continue, but I was worried about my eyesight, blah, blah, blah. I gave it my best and I really tried and I thought I was in the fight. And if he'd come out and said that would have been the end of the story. You wouldn't be talking about it today, but there's been all this weirdness going on that has just made the story last and last and last and last. It's like Boris Johnson with Priti Patel. I'm just going to draw a line under that and kill it. That's what he does, Boris. He just kills the stories. This is just rolling on and on and on. I saw another thing from Mark Tibbs today saying Kugan Cassius come and interview me now and this stuff. And you just think I just don't understand what this is all about because Billy Joe Saunders done the right thing. They've done the right thing. Everybody done the right thing.
If they were children, you'd tell them all to grow up and shut up.
it's just crazy. Just crazy.
Tim Brown on Twitter. Was Kay offered the Dalton Smith fight for the English before Kay went for the European?
We offered Dalton Smith the fight for the English when Kay was champion, and they turned it down. Dalton Smith did not want to fight Kay Prosper. So what they did, Matchroom, they gave Kay the option of the European title, which freed up his English title so Dalton Smith could fight Lee Appleyard. They turned down the Kay Prosper fight.
Yep. I know that's true. Number 2 from Tim Brown. Don't know if you can answer this, but just out of interest, what's the most amount of tickets one fighter has sold on one of your cards?
Right, there's a question here.
Florian, hasn't it, doing his own show?
Yeah, but it depends on sold, or because we don't know. It was Florian's show. We don't know what was sold and what was comped, right?
Yeah.
So we only know from what people have physically sold, and the biggest ticket seller we had in terms of what we know monetarily was Dan Keenan.
Yeah. Yeah, he used to do huge numbers, didn't he?
Yeah. So he done very, very well. Florian definitely put more bums on seats, but again, I can't say that because I don't know what the financial arrangements were with him and the tickets. But I would say that based on what we think, I don't know the numbers for that because we weren't involved in the we don't know what. But I would say Florian would probably have sold the most tickets. But Dan Keenan, from a normal standard show, would be him.
Question from Richard Poxon.
Richard Poxon.
Yeah. Richard Poxon asks, I've got one. Is AJ versus Fury happening?
Good question.
Oh,
you know
wow.
What? This whole thing is bollocks, isn't it?
What a week.
You don't know what's going on. It's funny how things get announced the day before they know the court case is coming out. It's as if so what do I think? Is it happening? Is it gonna happen? If I had to have a bet on it, yes.
As in happen next or happen?
Probably next, because I think Wilder will take an absolute bundle of money to do it, to walk away.
I'm going to say no, because I don't believe there is any amount of money you can pay that is more profitable than Wilder just fighting Fury. And he has a bit of paper in his hand that says, you have to fight me, Tyson Fury.
Yeah,
and
it could be.
When you look at it from the perspective of, say, Al Heyman as, I don't know, manager, promoter, whatever, the advisor, whatever he is to Wilder, with his relationship through PBC and with the TV deals that he's got there, why would he allow that fight to go ahead, Fury versus Joshua, boost all those DAZN subscriptions, tie up all the belts, all the while there's just a small amount of the total chunk that goes to his fighter and him?
That's fair. That's fair. And do you know what the funny thing about Richard is? He'll know the answer better than I would. Richard Poxon is so clued up. He'll be pretty clued up. He'll know better than you or I. And he's had dealings with them. And I judge by that question that he doesn't think it's happening.
I would probably guess the same.
Yeah. Come on, Richard, tell us.
But no, you're right. Richard will know better than you or I whether it's happening. He'll have more direct links to it. But that'd be my guess. I don't understand what's in it for Wilder, what's in it for Heyman.
Because I guess Wilder Fury wouldn't generate anywhere near the money that Fury Joshua will deal. So I don't know. It's difficult. It's such a big fight. But on the other hand, it could be, Martin, that the fight was never going to happen.
It's interesting when Arum comes out today, like the day after the arbitration ruling, saying we've got this stadium in Vegas booked for when was it? It was September, was it?
Yeah.
Just how have you got a stadium booked within less than 24 hours of the arbitration ruling?
It's very odd. The whole thing's odd. But I just sometimes think when you get a multi-million fight, there's enough money to buy people off. But in this instance, there may not be. And again, I think there's more to it than you or I know. And I'd imagine that Richard Poxon knows more about that than I do.
Yeah, I don't see it happening because I don't see how you can possibly pay off a man who's, going to earn more and the opportunity of getting his belt back.
Yeah, you may be right. You may be
We'll
right.
find out. We'll find out. Or Richard can tell us.
Yeah, Richard will tell us. He'll be right.
Better Q on Twitter. Come around fast. With regards to area titles, how long does Steve think is a reasonable time for area councils to allow for the belts to be contested from today, given so many fighters are inactive and vacant belts?
How long? I think they should all be contested in September.
Okay.
I think that don't send things out to purse bids. If somebody can make a fight that fits an area title, let them make the fight and let the belt get fought for. There's been a lot of people during lockdown, we tell you about this, getting their fighters so-called made mandatory, saying, oh, if you get it made mandatory, I'll get it on TV. They're getting a fight put out for the area title and then go quiet and think they're going to pick this up down the line. That I don't think should be allowed to happen.
I think it makes sense for the June board hearings for any promoter to put forward fights that they want to put on in September
for the area
title board hearing, and then in the July one, any formal objections to those fights get disputed and agreed, ready for a September set of shows.
I agree.
Or even do it in May, ready for June disputes and settlements, and then you get all of the belts that are available in circulation.
You need to get them fought for. Them fought for. And people that have got the belts should be defending them. Everybody should be out there getting those belts moving, because this is what you need to get going again. Otherwise, you can end up with them just sitting around not being contested for, purse bids delayed. Get people to agree the fights without purse bids, and the first fights that can get made and agreed, let them, as long as they qualify for it, let them go.
Yeah. Question from Lee on Twitter at I Was Only There. Simple question. Are you fed up with boxing?
That's a really good question. Yes. Yeah, probably. I'm fed up with the business of boxing, but am I ready to quit boxing? No. So am I fed up with a lot of it? Yeah. And I think if you were involved as much as I was and have to deal with what I've dealt with, I think Lee would be fed up with boxing as well. I mean, you know what we have to go through, Martin. But I'm still quite excited about the new season, but fed up with the business of the sport. And I was given a quote today, and I won't give the first part of the quote because it would probably, if I give the first part of the quote, might give away who I was speaking to, if you follow me today. But the second part was, boxing is full of CUNTS with the odd ARSHOL. And that was from somebody else involved in the sport. And they told me that today. And they were using other things about other sports. And at times it can feel like that. And it's not very nice. It's not very nice, the sport. So yes, you get fed up. But then you have the good things that happen. And you see some sort of things at the moment that you see where you think, oh, it's quite exciting, and you get back onto it again. But generally, yes, I would say that a fed up would be a fair thing, but I would be lying if I said otherwise.
Yeah, and I think in the purest form of the sport side of it, there's always going to be that passion and that interest. On the less pure side of it, are there a group of dickheads in the sport? Yeah, there are. And those people change over time. It's not always necessarily the same ones year after year. And I only see, the surface of it. From what you tell me, I'm sure there's, an awful lot more that sits beneath that as well. Right. Tony Moss, 15. Boxing, Martin. What the actual fuck is it doing to itself? It's never been as comical and chaotic. I assume you'll be talking about Taylor and Ramirez and the lack of UK broadcasters picking it up. Yes. Yeah. And I think that was in reference as well to the chaotic side of it. Did you see Myris Bradis today calling out Jake Paul?
And Sauerland's saying, if we beat you, retire from the sport. I mean, yeah.
You've got a Ring Magazine champion calling out a geezer from YouTube.
I mean, the whole sport is going crackers. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the sport. More weirder. Well, look, what did we spoke about various things, didn't we, before we went on camera, didn't we, today? And there's some very odd stuff going on. Very, very odd stuff.
Hugely. It gets worse. Costella King. I never know if this geezer's trolling us, you, or not, to be honest, but I'll keep asking his questions because they seem reasonable. Evening, Steve. Any regrets over not joining the Fight Zone TV platform, given their booming start this week?
He's definitely on the wind up.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Do you know what? Number one, I wasn't asked to join. So there's no regrets. It's like the thing about Natasha Jonas. No regrets.
Yeah, I think he asked a Natasha Jonas question as well.
Yeah, and I think we had the same thing about Florian Marku, right? Same thing. Any regrets about Florian Marku? So I think this is a wind up. But anyway, let's deal with it. Number one, I wasn't asked. Number two, I wish them all the success in the world, and I hope it's extremely successful. I really do, because anything good for boxing is fantastic. So I really, really wish them all the best. Just as I wished Frank Warren with Box Nation all the best. Anything to do with boxing, I wish the best, very, very best for. So it isn't a question of not joining. I was not asked to join. And again, whether I would have joined or not is not the point. I just wish everybody involved with it all the very best.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge ask to make it a success, but I truly hope they make it a success.
Me too.
I can see an awful lot of issues and reasons why it may not become a success, but I'm not the one who's funding it. I'm not the one behind it. I'm not the one who's invested in it. So good luck to all of those people that are, and it'd be brilliant if they can make something of it.
Absolutely. From a point of view of every decision that I make, whether it be on my boxer's behalf in fights or negotiate, it's all calculated decisions based on what I believe, and I'm not going to be right all the time. And I hope they make it a success. That's all I can say. I want everybody to be successful in boxing, because when I ever stop boxing, I'll still watch boxing, and I want more boxing to be on the TV. I want more boxers to earn more money. I want the sport to be more dynamic, more successful, and the more people that are successful in it, the better. So great, good luck. Honestly, great, good luck. And the fight between Myron Mills and Lucas Ballingall is an absolute cracker. By the way, I fancy Lucas Ballingall strongly to win that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not seen enough of Mills, but I know Ballingall is a quality talent.
I've been looking for odds on that fight. There's been none. But if I think they'd have made Lucas Ballingall 2-1, 9-4, and I would have had some of that for sure. We win, lose, or draw. Yeah, oh God, yeah. Myron Mills is talented, and Lucas is having to do it in the away corner. Not the biggest puncher in the world, but I would fancy Lucas to win that fight if on a fair judging decision. So yeah. you'd want the bigger odds to cater for the potential judging that might not go his way.
I'm going to keep asking Costella King's questions each week. I don't know if he's on the wind up or not, to be honest, but
keep asking. Okay? Because to be honest, he's dealing with subjects. There's no subject, Martin, that I'm not prepared to answer. So ask. If he's doing it and he's genuine, great. If he's doing it because he thinks that I'm going to be embarrassed, You can ask me as many things you like. I never get embarrassed.
Yeah,
So.
I quite enjoy his subtle level of trolling, if that is the case.
Yeah.
And if it isn't, I quite enjoy his line of questioning.
No, because they're good questions. They're actually good questions.
Yeah. So tell me, Costello King, I need to know whether you're serious or not. I'm going to keep asking him either way.
Yeah.
Lee, last up. I hope you're well, Lee. Do you expect costs to rise this year with venues, doctors, etc., post-COVID, with people trying to claw back lost revenue? And will that have an impact on your shows?
We've already seen the cost rising. Every cost we've looked at is going up.
From venue to personnel?
The ambulances have gone up astronomically. That's the start. So, yeah, costs are going to rise. Will it have an impact on the show? Well, hopefully not. Hopefully we'll just work harder to sell more tickets to cover it. But we're not going to put the prices of tickets up. So that's
there you go. Good news for people attending.
Yeah, exactly. Not putting the price of tickets up. Though we're going to have to do something quite different, I think, in the first show, but more about that in a few weeks' time.
All right. Also, with all the new managers coming into boxing, are you seeing less people looking around for a manager?
We're seeing, what I'm seeing, we're still signing. I would say we're signing as many boxers as we have always signed. What I am finding, though, is we are getting much less second-hand boxers. For example, we used to sign people like Frank Buglioni. We signed Derek Chisora. We signed Miles Shinkwin. We signed
Waddy.
People whose careers needed turning around. And every one of them, we turned their careers, Dion Juma, every one of them, we turned their careers around because we're good at it. But we're not getting that now. We're not getting that. And that's primarily, I think, because they're going to MTK, those fighters. And there are also other managers that are promising people the world. So that, and they don't get that from us. So what we are seeing is we're signing a lot of debutants, but we're not getting the second-hand boxers coming through like we used to. The ones that were on the verge, the careers had gone wrong and they need rebuilding.
Yeah.
And that's our particular skill set, but that's not happening. But that's okay, because that's a hard job, right? That's the hardest job in the world. And you often, and Wadi Camacho was fantastic, which was great because we saw him through to the end of his career. But Dion Juma was the opposite, where we'd done all the work and I would say didn't get the ideal treatment at the end. But Wadi, it was great. So to be honest, that's where your heartache comes. So maybe I'm quite happy not having those jobs to do.
Yeah. John Bailey. John's one that I want to come along to our Ring Talk Live. Always ask decent questions. Not looking for names, but are there board-run areas that Steve would have serious issues with sending his fighters to fight in? I know the answer. Can I give what names, if I were a manager, I might not be willing to send my fighters to?
You give it, and I'm not going to comment, but you go.
Central area. Anywhere that falls north of Birmingham is where I would personally risk or not wish to risk my my fighters going to. Not that I have any fighters, but don't worry about that. Does David Hayes still have any promotional rights over Linus?
No.
End of. So what happened with how many fights did he have, or was it just that it naturally dissolved?
No, because David had he had 2 fights on David Hayes shows, and then he had the fight on the Chisora undercard. So Linus had a 3-fight deal. They were the 3 fights, and that was the end because David didn't promote anymore after that. But he did fulfill his obligations, and he gave Linus a fight on the Chisora White. Was Chisora White? Yes, Chisora White undercard, I think it was.
Yeah, it was the one where it was his 3rd fight in about 12 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah. So David Hayes, no problem. He fulfilled everything that he was obligated to do so. But then David obviously went into managing rather than promoting. So that the deal itself expired.
All right. 2 more from John, and then we're done. Over the next 12 months, will we see Steve promoting any new geographical areas or venues?
I have no intention to go into any new geographical areas. To be honest, when you say getting fed up with boxing, we're happy where we are, building up where we are in the Plymouth area. We're building up quite big down there, and we're happy in our London area. But taking new areas on is just another headache. And to be honest, I don't want any more headaches. I take enough paracetamol through boxing as it is. I don't need to take any more.
Final question. What are Steve's top 5 fights he's either promoted or managed fighters in?
Poor, that's hard. I need
Yeah.
those. Okay, Leon McKenzie, Cello Render, number 1.
Buglioni.
Frank Buglioni, Jose Burton, 2.
Camacho Iqbal.
Camacho Iqbal, yeah, 3. Both of them fights. So put them together, won both fights. They were great fights to watch, definitely.
Can I chuck one in, which would be completely...
Linus Udofia, Tyner Denny.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to chuck one in. And do you know what? As much as I'm going to chuck it in, I can't even remember the away fighter. So bear with me 2 secs while I chuck this into BoxRec.
I remember Linus, by the way, crying at the end of that fight, and I knew it meant the world to him. And he gave everything in that fight. That was just amazing.
Ryan French against Joseph Takacs.
Oh my God, that was some fight, wasn't it?
What? I've never seen a 4-rounder like it.
That was a fight, wasn't it? That was. Oh, I've got to add another one in. Rakeem Noble, Sahel Ahmed.
Yeah. Yeah. So in that one, Ryan French was down in the 2nd round and the 3rd round. Takacs was down in the 1st round and then got stopped in the 4th round.
That was some fight, wasn't it?
I've never seen a 4-rounder with 4 knockdowns and a stoppage as part of it. That was brutal. That was the only time.
He never fought after that, you know. He never fought again, did he, Ryan French?
No, he didn't need to, did he? That was... Why would you?
Jesus, what a fight. What a fight. But no, that was him done, Ryan, after that. It was him done.
Anyway, so that's my final one out of you.
That was a good one. So I think we've given 6, but I think there's 6 good ones. There's probably others, but I think they were the best. They were the best fights that I can remember that I watched.
Yeah, I'm not sure Ryan French against Joseph Takacs is going to make many lists for best fights ever seen, but
it was good. I think the Sahel Ahmed Rakeem Noble fight has got to be up with one of the top fights I've ever watched live.
Yeah, and I think it's grown over time for me because Rakeem Noble is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Rakeem has now joined boxing Twitter as like a fan of boxing, and he engages in the lunacy that is boxing, and he amuses me no end.
He's a nice fella as well. That's the whole point. He's such a nice fella. So
yeah, he's brilliant. He's brilliant. Right, that's it for the week.
Brilliant.
We'll be back next week to review a fight that's on Fight TV that neither of us will have seen.
We'll have on Channel 5. We'll review what happens on the Hennessy show. Although, to be honest, again, I haven't even looked at the card yet.
I couldn't tell you who's fighting.
No.
I couldn't tell you who's fighting. I think it's Eggington against Molina, isn't it?
Oh, is it? I mean, I genuinely haven't looked, and it sounds really bad, but I've just, when there's not much of a build-up to anything, you sort of get. I was away on holiday last week. I've come back this week. I'm snowed under with my financial work, and I've been doing boxing meetings today. So I'm literally so busy, I haven't had a chance to look at anything coming up. So.
Yeah, but they don't give you great reason to look at them, so I wouldn't bother.
Exactly right.
Make boxing better. Let's do it better. Let's do it. Let's make the sport better.
That's what we want. That's what we
want.
Right.
Cool. We're going to crack on with that next week. We're going to make a new stand on it.
All right, Martin. Brilliant.
Right. Have a good week.
Same to you, mate. Take care.
Bye-bye.